Hello. So today we're going to be talking about some UI changes. So first of all, let's look into the comments from our previous update video. All right. So first of all, in here, this one talks about the reward system pop-up that comes up after you defeat an enemy. So this is part of choosing an option to get a system. So let me show you how that looks like. So there are a few different variations to this, as I've been told to make. And here's the simplest one. So for the structure, you have the the context of how you're getting to pick one of the systems here. Then you have 3 choices. Now it's not limited to 3, there can be more than 3. And in that case, you have the scroll bar that you can use to see the other options, but you will always see 3. Now, the basic structure is you have an answer that is a good answer, an answer that's negative, and you have a special option here that gives you the reward. It's hidden for now. It gives you the reward when you meet the requirements. Now it doesn't show you, but you will get something good based on the perk, whether or not you meet the requirements, the criteria. Here's some of the other variations to that. So let's say you have not filled the criteria, or you cannot access the criteria. So when you hover your mouse over like this, it's red. The box turns red, just like in Fallout New Vegas. Over here, where the option, because you didn't meet it, the box is red and you cannot click on it. Now, what if you can click on it? So let's say you meet the requirement and you hover your mouse over it, it's a green box like this now. You can click on it and get your reward. There's also different ways you can meet the criteria, whether or not you have, let's say, a system. You have 2 of a system, so you can collect your reward. So depending on what we choose, we can have different kinds of options here for the player to pick from and see what kind of loot they get, which is a mystery for now. So yeah, you scroll down and you get to this page, 3 more, and on the top it's like this. So you scroll, then you have this. Now, what's next? Oh, whoops. Okay, and I've shown you how the special option would look like. So another thing is the character UI for individual characters. We decided to change it up a bit from what we had previously, so to make it more readable and save up some space. So this is what we were able to come up with. As you can see, there is an icon for the profession. Below that is for the origin, and on the right here you have your classes. It can be more, it can be 1, it can be 2, or it can be more than that. So it's over here on the right. You have your name, the character portrait. Then you have 2 items. We decided to go for 2 instead of 3. 1 for the weapon and 1 for the armor. And right below that is your health bar. This makes up the components for a character UI. With that, we can add that towards the character tab for the cargo. And as you can see, I've changed some of the layout a bit here as well. So let's start off with the perks. In the perks, last time the order was off, and the correct order would be having the highest tier. If you look over here, the highest unlocked perk should be at the top. So here you have 3 stars, 2 star, 1 star, inactive. And on the right here, you can see there are 8 instead of 9. due to it being longer in height, we ran out of space for the 9th character. So what I did instead is I put it to 8. But if we are going to be having more characters than this, and if this is an option, I added this scroll wheel. So let's say there are more than 8 characters, you can scroll to the next suit of characters here. But if we don't need this, then we can quickly just remove it like this. Then I've also changed the layout of the item storage to this. So now there's 8 here at the bottom. So drag it into the character. That also leaves room for more perks if you're ever gonna get some more. So the more characters you get, the more kinds of perks you could have. So it will get longer depending on the characters you have. Now, what else? Here we talked about, yes, the reward. And we decided to go for all the boxes. Next up is this one. Yes, that's a reward again. We talked about Fallout New Vegas. We talked about that. And yeah, we also talked about this one's new. So in here, I kind of went for the idea of these few other options because, and let me know if we don't need to, in the weapon slots, this is for the system box, in the weapon slots, you have an auto fire extension of the UI here, the button. So if we were to go for this and place that over here, it would the tier would be blocked, rather the stars, by the auto fire. So unless we're not going to have this and just have it normal like this, then that would be fine. But if ever we're going to need the type of weapon and the tier of it, I decided to create two more options. One where it would be at the bottom instead, so then it would fit here, and the other where the icons are just inside the box like this. But if this is fine, then we can leave it as is. As for the cargo portion, I decided to already replace the frame. So what I did is I took off the system here and then the ID, and I just made it into a frame. So whenever there is a system, you can just successfully have the frame behind it along with the tier and the type, since it applies to all systems. The question just being is which would be the best layout here. If it's like this what we have right now, then we'll leave it like that and it's fine. Let's see, what else? For the characters, we also took inspiration from some Pokemon cards to come up with our character UI design, which is this one. And we took for how they were displayed when there's multiple characters, we took inspiration from Void War, where they also have this scroll system. Now let me show you how that looks like in our game. Here we have the player, and here we have for the enemy. So I had to put them into components here like this, and then put them all together, and then replace each one for each of the scenes. So they all follow that component. So when I make a change there, it would also affect everything in there on these scenes. Now let me show you how it looks like when you have the player and the enemy exposed for a battle. So as you can see, you have your captain here, which is the biggest one. Then you have your crew members, just like in Void War, which are smaller. If you have more than that, you can just scroll for more rows. I also changed the order here for the perks. And it's mirrored for the enemy side. You have your status, you have their crew members, and then their captain. We've already made a rule where if you defeat the captain of the enemy, or your captain is defeated, the game is over. For them, the enemy, or for you. So you either win or lose. Yeah, I applied that to all the other scenes as well. Including, I've also added here the scene of our newest reward pop-up. And then the reward for the possible options you can get for when the enemy surrenders. So as you can see, it doesn't tell you what you get now. And you'll just have to know when you meet the requirements. And yes, this is for the resources you get. Let's see what else is there. Yeah, we talked about the video. And let me show you how I did make those icons. These icons that are, you see throughout the UI. How do I make them into our style? So the way I did this, okay, so the first thing you need to do when you want to get an icon and replace it to your style, you go to where the image is, you copy it. I use a program called paint.net, which is like a lighter version of Photoshop. So let me open it up. It's already open for me. So if you want to create something like this, first you make a new file, and if you have the image copied in your clipboard, it would already have the height and width set. So you just press OK. Then you Control V, you paste it. And here you have the image. Now, I could just paste this image into Rive itself, but you'll see an issue here where the image would have, there you go, you can see this. There, it would be black and white. Now, we can't have this, and we have to put this in our own style. So how do we fix this? We take a magic wand here, and the reason why we're doing this is because it selects all the white in this image, and then we hit delete. So every white that was touching, all the color white, would be deleted. Click the rest of the white spaces, and here you have only the black portion. This box is behind it, these small squares, that means it's transparent. Now, we need to color it. So what we do is, we go and find the hex value of whatever color we're trying to get. In my case, it's 164F476. Copy that. Go back to the image, and then we hit the paint bucket tool. Now you can't just click on it, because it will only get the portion that it's connected to. So if you want everything, you shift and then you left click with the paint bucket on the black spot. That would apply it to all of the colored areas that wasn't white. Now that we have our image, we can just save it, hit Control S, and then name it whatever you want. Icon. Hit enter. Press OK. This is just for formatting. And there you have it. All you need to do is go to whatever file you had. In my case, I saved it here. Copy it, select copy it, and then you can paste it on Rive. It would be that icon you just made. Here it is. Oh, it went crazy, but yeah. Let me put it somewhere else, like this. There. This is the icon we just did. Now, let's see. Yeah. That should be it for my side of the video. My next steps is pretty much finalizing the foundation of the UI. I still need to know which one we're using for this. And once we finalize the UI, we can move on to other parts of the project, like finding artists and things like that. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.